Good morning. We'll continue with our topic tragic plot and its structure and elements. The next point we'll be discussing is the probability and necessity. Aristotle has coupled organic unity of plot with probability and necessity. The plot must deal with an action, incidents, and situations which is possible according to the laws of probability and necessity. The poet is not tied to what has actually happened, but he deals with what may probably or necessarily happen under the given circumstances. Now, we can say that probability and necessity imply that there should be no unrelated events and incidents. That is, we can say the various events must be interrelated with a sort of artistic logic. They must follow each other inevitably, and further that nothing should be left to chance or to something marvelous, at least in the essential parts of the action. If it is necessary, the marvelous should be used only in connection with the events that have happened in the remote past or what has to be foretold. The concept of probability and necessity also implies that words and actions must be in character. They must be the probable or necessary outcome of the character of a dramatic personae. Therefore, probability and necessity imply coherence and order and are essential for artistic unity and wholeness. Next point is the willing suspension of disbelief. Probability implies that the tragic action must be convincing or credible. If the poet deals with something improbable, he must have the skill to make it convincing and credible. This, you can say, is called the willing suspension of disbelief. The dramatist therefore must procure a willing suspension of disbelief for the events and incidents which form his plot. Therefore, a convincing impossibility is to be preferred to an unconvincing possibilities. Next is the dramatic unities. The points we have discussed above make it clear that Aristotle rules out plurality of action. He emphasizes the unity of action but has little to say about the unity of time and unity of place. About the unity of time, he merely says in the Poetics that tragedy should confine itself as far as possible to a single revolution of the sun. No law is implied in the Poetics regarding the unity of time. Aristotle has just made a suggestion and he has simply hinted what is desirable and has added the saving clause, that is, as far as possible. Many Greek tragedies with which he must have been familiar took a much longer time than a single revolution of the sun. But in course of time, Aristotle's suggestion gave rise to the neoclassic doctrine of the unity of time, which was made into a rigid rule. Aristotle never laid down any such rule. He never claimed that the time taken in the performance of a tragedy must coincide with the duration of its action. As regards to the unity of place, Aristotle only mentions when comparing the epic and the tragedy, that the epic can narrate a number of actions simultaneously in different parts, which while in a drama such simultaneous actions cannot be represented because the stage is one part, means it is the play is being enacted at one place and not several parts or places. In this respect also Aristotle was much misunderstood by Renaissance critics and later French critics also, who deduced from what Aristotle has said the rigid unity of place. Then Aristotle believes that a plot to be a tragic plot, it should have some fatal elements. So, Aristotle has said that tragedy is an imitation of a serious action and that its purpose is to arouse pity and fear. Now, we can see that serious means that important or something weighty. The plot of a tragedy must be comprised of serious incidents because for Aristotle, tragedy is essentially a play which deals with great moral issues, matters of utmost importance to human life. Moreover, the incidents comprising the plot should be such as are likely to arouse the feelings of pity and fear. Now, this means that tragedy is a tale of suffering with an unhappy ending because it is only such a tale that is likely to arouse both pity and fear. Therefore, Aristotle has given a rule or ruled out fortunate plots for tragedy because such a plot is not likely to arouse the proper tragic emotions. A tragic plot must depict the hero passing from happiness to misery and not rising from misery to happiness. The suffering or misery of the hero may be caused either by the action of an enemy or by the action of a stranger, but it would be most piteous when it is unintentionally caused by friends and relatives. Next is the plots that are simple and complex. According to Aristotle, tragic plots may be of three kinds: simple, complex, and plots based on or depicting incidents of suffering and depending for their effects on such depiction. The words simple and complex here are like some technical terms. A simple plot is one which does not have any peripety and anagnorisis, but the action moves forward uniformly without any violent or sudden change. Aristotle prefers complex plots. An ideal tragic plot, according to Aristotle, must not be simple, but it should be complex. That is, it must have peripeteia. That is, what does peripeteia means? The reversal of intention, and anagnorisis, which means recognition of truth. It is thus unexpected catastrophe resulting from a deed done with the best of intentions that arouses pity and fear to the greatest possible extent. The ideal tragedy is one which results from human error or error on the part of friends and relatives, or error on the part of the hero or the tragic hero himself. The ideal tragedy is a story in which the calamity is due to a false move blindly made by a friend or family member or by the hero himself. Atkins has written about it, quote, "It is a tragedy brought about not by the deliberate purpose of some evil agent, nor yet by mere chance, but by human error." So, an ideal plot is one in which anagnorisis follows or even coincides with peripeteia, that is, with the false step taken by the hero or his well-wishers. Thank you. We will continue with the other points in the tragic plot in our next lecture.